Okay, good morning. It is Thursday, October 9th, 2025. Your Richland County Board of Commissioners are now in session. Coming to you from a little bit of different location this morning, the county's new conference room. So happy and pleased to use it. Commissioner Tony Vero, joined by Commissioners Mears and Banks, our County Administrator Andrew Keller, our Senior Clerk Stacy Crawl, Matt Hill with County IT, Carl Hunnell's partial upgrade, Hayden Gray, Mark Caudill with the News Journal, Toby Borders with Job and Family Services, Mr. Gas Pump, our auditor, Pat Dropsy, and always lovely to see the mayor of the wonderful village of Shiloh, Mr. Paul Currier. We have some regular logistical items to go through this morning before we get to the 10 a.m. Local property tax discussion. So Toby, you're here to request 3 approvals this morning. We'll let you take it away.
The first one is a contract extension with Charles D. Harris, for the upcoming audits for the local family council. So the extension is for the years, it'll be through financials of 2027. They did have a slight price increase on the dollar amounts, so $425 for the upcoming 2-year audit that ends $431 and 25, and then an additional $340 through 2027. Which is a lot less we've seen on some of our other auditing. So looking for approval for that.
So I presume the extension period of 1/1/24 dates back to the periods in which they'll do the audit. I just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
Motion, ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes. All right, Toby, next up, New Hop Center.
So this is the contract that we do with New Hop Standard for respite care through Youth and Family Council. It originally started with we reimbursed Children's Services because they had a 4E waiver, but the funding for that went away a few years ago. So Youth and Family Council has been paying those expenses for them without that extra flexible funding.
And this will be effective from October 1/25 to September 30th, 2026. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes. All right, last up is a vendor agreement with Children's Services.
This is for the direct rental placements. So this is where the children are going to different homes for intense therapy and counseling in the hopes that they get the skills and help that they need to be reunited with their families and go back in their homes.
Also effective October 1, 2025 through September 30th, 2026.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes. All right, motion to certify the record of proceedings for October 7th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes. Motion to approve requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes. Motion to approve weekly transfers and appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes. All right, next up, we have a request from our dog warden, Missy Houghton. She's asking that we approve the hiring of Grace Buckner to be a part-time deputy. Her driving record came back crystal clear. We love that. Her start date would be today, so Missy's eager to get her going. The starting rate of pay would be $19.40 per hour with a 1-year probationary period. May we have that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes. All right, next up, we have a utility permit application from Columbia Gas. They're going to be replacing a 1-inch gas service line under Washington North Road. We have that approval.
So moved.
Motion. Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
All right, request from Michelle Swank, our executive Dayspring our executive director of Dayspring. She's asking that we authorize a termination effective today, October 9th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Barrow.
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
All right, next up, nice work on this, Andrew. We have for approval amendments to the engineering contract with Karpinski. This is for the county administration building, which is this building, and the current chiller project underway. So we needed to make some minor changes. It won't change the cost of the engineering, but its likelihood, and of course, we know it will change the cost of the project and not in the way we would like it to go, but nonetheless, this would be a request to approve the amendment. Andrew, is there anything you'd like to add on this?
Well, as you said, it doesn't change the cost of the engineering contract itself, but it changes the scope of what's going to be done. This is the chiller for this county administration building. The current chiller is at end of life. Originally, the engineer was considering keeping the current chiller and adding in an additional new chiller to achieve some redundancy. But upon further consideration, they've decided to install or to propose to install a dual compressor unit that will have built-in redundancy, and then removing the smart chiller for both engineering and structural reasons. So,
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Barrow.
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Okay, next up, we have three requests. One would be from Commissioner Banks, the other from Commissioner Mears, and then our administrative assistant Heather Tillman. This is a request to attend the CCAO Winter Conference. So probably have to do this. Let's do Heather first.
Good deal.
Ask for that approval, and then we're gonna have to do some extensions with the commissioners. So I will ask for a motion to approve Heather Toman's travel to the winter conference.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Barrow.
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes. All right, then I'll ask for a motion to approve Commissioner Banks's travel and lodging for the CCAO Winter Conference.
So moved.
I abstain. Also,
Commissioner Barrow.
yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Yes.
You need to abstain.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Okay, next up then, we have Commissioner Mears's winter conference. May we have that motion? So moved. Second,
Commissioner Barrow.
yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Abstain.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes. Okay, that is it for our regular items. Any questions from anyone before we recess for the fun discussion at 10? All right, seeing no business at this time, we will recess and come back at 10 a.m.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming. It's 10 a.m. The Richland County Board of Commissioners are now in session. We sent out a letter a little bit ago requesting all our taxing jurisdictions, should they want to attend a discussion on property tax. Just a couple clearinghouse items. If you haven't signed the sign-in sheet, who has that now, by any chance?
They're both in,
They're both.
one's in front of Anita. I don't know where the other one. Oh, they're both in front of Anita.
Anita has them all. Please sign the sign-in sheet.
Pass one back.
For the sake of time, we're not gonna have everyone introduce themselves for going around the room. When we do open it up for questions and concerns, we ask that you stand up and say your name and what organization you are representing. We're gonna try to make this as brief as possible, but it's certainly very important. We generally have a several minute time limit on speaking, but I don't like doing that. It's a public meeting and people should have an opportunity to be heard. We just ask that there might be a lot of people asking questions or speaking. So just be mindful of time this morning. We'll provide a little an overview of how we got here. We'll turn it over to Pat Dropsy, whose name you see every time you go to the gas pump. And he'll go over the financials with you guys and the potential impact. So a little bit of background. House Bill 96 is part of the state budget. Gave counties the ability to provide additional property tax relief by offering what we'll call piggyback homestead and the 2.5% owner occupied tax exemption. Previously, this was not an authority granted to counties. Taxation and the rules that flow therefrom have traditionally been the responsibility of the state. They have given counties the authority to enact these piggyback exemptions. Something very, very important for the purposes of today's discussion. The current homestead and owner occupant exemptions, the revenue loss to all the local taxing jurisdictions are backfilled by the state. These exemptions, should the commissioners, the three of us, move forward with one or both of them, will not be backfilled by the state. So it would be a revenue loss to the taxing jurisdictions. Just an overview. I think most of you are somewhat familiar with the homestead tax exemption. It allows qualifying homeowners a reduction that is equal to the taxes that would otherwise be charged up to $28,000 of the market value of their home. Pat, is that correct?
For the current tax year, yes.
Yes. There's some other qualifying or requirements to meet that exemption. Again, I'm almost always wrong, so step in and correct me if I misspeak.
With pleasure.
I know. And then the owner occupied tax credit allows property owners who live in their property to receive a 2.5 reduction credit on qualified levies and property taxes for their primary residence. Mr. Dropsy, is that correct?
Absolutely correct. My
Okay.
dad is Mr.
Mr. Dropsy, okay. Patrick, is that better?
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn it over to Pat here, but also just a little bit of a note. Some or all of you may know you are currently sitting what used to be the Richland County Jail. And I'm sure Pat was never visiting that. Is that correct?
Actually, I visited it quite often. when I went
Okay.
to The state auditor's office to audit certain sheriffs that were no longer
But
sheriffs.
you never visited it as a, let's say, guest
No,
or on behalf of Sheriff Sheldon.
I did have several sheriffs who indicate that they could make me a guest.
I'm sure that, including a few commissioners, but
That's true.
we're very proud of this, and it's one of the reasons, obviously, due to the crowd today, but it's pretty unique to use existing space that used to be a jail. And it's what we would call the first phase of a multi-year renovation and upgrade project that you, the taxpayers, paid for. Okay, so this is something we're proud of. Some of you have seen our new clerk's office next door. If you have a little time, check out downstairs too. New land bank offices were set to open, new probation training rooms that were set to open. We're very proud and thankful that you, the taxpayers, have afforded us the dollars to do that debt-free. Absolutely no money's borrowed to do this. It's been a complete overhaul of the building, brand new elevators. For those of you who are familiar with the building, the restrooms were original to the building, down to the unique colored tile and many other fun decorations. We're excited that we have redone every bathroom in the building. And if you have some time, please take a look, and we thank you on behalf of the county that you as taxpayers have paid for those renovations. So with that being said, Patrick, if you could kind of go over the financials of these piggyback exemptions or
First of all,
extensions.
Does everybody have a spreadsheet? Does anybody that needs a spreadsheet? Okay, what this spreadsheet represents are the current tax credits for the 2.5% and the homestead that every entity in Richland County received during this tax collection season, tax year 24. Some of you might not realize that when the taxes are dispersed to each and every entity in Richland County, there is a report that comes along with it. It's called the SB 108. It's the settlement report. It shows the amount of money, the gross collection, the any delinquencies collected, any fees that are charged. And at the bottom of that report, it shows your tax credits that you will be receiving from the state of Ohio, which would be the homestead, owner occupancy, and the non-business tax credit. The non-business is not part of this discussion. It was not part of the statute that the legislature passed during the budget period. So what you're looking at is the first and second half tax credit for each and every entity in Richland County. And the county itself is broken down by each and every levy and the department that receives those levy dollars. So these tax credits are the actual gross tax credit that every entity received during this calendar year. So if the county commissioners decide to mirror the state tax credits, which would be 2.5%, and use the current $28,000 for the homestead, these were the amounts that would, the best way I can explain it is these are the amounts that you received this year. So if they would have done it this year, this would be the amounts that you would have lost this year also. Because it's a piggyback, as Mr. Vero has explained. However, we can't give a better estimate than what we provided due to the fact that I don't know how many delinquencies there's going to be next year. I don't know how many more homesteads or how many less homesteads there'll be next year. Same thing with the 2.5%. It changes every year. The difference between what we're presenting now and what could actually be next year is going to be, it's not going to be significant as far as a huge jump. It could be a little bit lower. It could be a little bit higher. It all depends on how tax collection goes next year. So basically, all we did was we took this year's information, transposed it to a spreadsheet, broke them down by both halves, broke them down by both tax credits with a grand total, a subtotal for each tax credit, and then a grand total if they're combined, if the commissioners decide to go with both of them. All I suggest you do is look at your entity, look at what the right-hand column would represent, which would be the total amount that you would lose if the commissioners piggyback on those the parcels that would be involved, which is all 72,000 parcels plus that the county has. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer your questions. And also, all this information is on your ST 108 that your fiscal officers would have received at the time the tax extensions were made.
To add on to what Pat is saying before we open it up, there's a unique timing to this. So action taken by counties between October 1st and October 31st on these two specific issues It would take effect January 1 of 2026. We know when we say effect and property tax bills are in arrears, that would not be the case. So this would be an impact to your 2026 revenues. It wouldn't be effective 1/1/26, but because they're in arrears, you wouldn't see a revenue reduction until 2027. You would see a revenue reduction for 2026. So I think that's an important distinction we need to make. We all know that property taxes have been at the forefront of discussion at the State House. I would imagine most of us are familiar with a petition being circulated across the state of Ohio, which would completely abolish property taxes. Won't talk about that today, as I'm sure all of you are aware, but I do have a couple updates from the state. I waited till yesterday to get the most recent update. The governor's work group had submitted some recommendations on some property tax reform. I have those. I won't go over a list of those, but what I'm hearing from the state is there are a couple proposals that seem to have some legs in Columbus at this time. And what I'm being told is there's a proposal via House Bill 186 that would cap millage increases for schools via inflation if at the 20 mil floor. I'm not in the school world. How you guys understand the 20 mil floor and all that goodness? What I'm being told from Columbus is 2/3 of schools are at the 20 mil floor. There's also a House Bill 335, and this caps local government inside millage at the growth of inflation. That seems to have some legs. And there's also some additional conversation that has legs about boosting the owner occupancy credit. So those are the three right now going around Columbus that seem to have some momentum. With that, we'll open it up for discussion and questions, but I do have a request from the Shiloh mayor that he has an appointment today, so he asked to go first. So Paul Courier from Shiloh, the floor is yours.
My name is Paul Courier. I'm the mayor of Shiloh. And I just wanted to try to get everybody to consider the emotional aspect of this exemption and look at the long range of what it's going to affect every outfit as shown on this spreadsheet. These are losses. Okay, so when I took the oath as mayor 20 months ago, I was tasked with the protection of the village of Tucker. All this right. And we, as most of the mayors know, we have an obligation to provide certain infrastructure for our town, village, whatever you want to call them. So I'm one of them is a private citizen who doesn't want to have their taxes just what everybody wants to have. Nobody wants to pay. That's okay, but consider the alternative is what happens down the road. That is, how do I justify against all of this for purposes of discussion, but how do I as a mayor go to my people and say, year or two down the road, that we're going to have to provide police protection and we're going to have to provide fire protection, and that's not including just general underground and above ground infrastructure that we all know and love to use. So that's all I'm saying. I oppose this idea because, and I'll probably get hung tarred and feathers when it gets out by my residents. But sometimes short-sightedness is an illness. If you don't look at the long range and quit facing the little laser beam on the wall, like it does in some of the videos that you see, then you lose the whole concept of what I, as a mayor and the council of Shiloh, is supposed to provide for the residents. And that is all of the protection that we can possibly give. And do that without locally raising some kind of a levy or tax on everybody to buy the necessary infrastructure like this gentleman here, to, and the schools. The schools can't take a hit. I never had kids, but I'm gonna give you two numbers. I'm 73 years old, and 3,156 pages of this act. I looked it up, and all the wisdom, they decided that the governor's line item veto should have been sent to the people to make the decision. Okay, that's not good. So they kind of dumped as one report said, a hot potato into these laps of all of the counties on their boards and commissions. I don't think that was the right move to make, but there's a lot of people that do want to see their taxes reduced. That's what this will do. But just all I'm saying is, remember the long shot, the long haul. You always have to look in the future. 3,156 pages was this act that they developed. And when I logged on to it and I asked my printer to print it out, it told me that, okay, you got 3,156 pages to print out. And so I got to scrolling. And it was all just numbers, ordinance number after ordinance number after ordinance number after ordinance number. The comma was changed, moved down to a sentence, and which changes the whole concept of whatever ordinance that may be. And I couldn't for the life, what that told me was that in Columbus, God bless them, they're also, but we become familiar. I would suggest that everybody looks at maybe shoving this right back into their arms and saying, you know, why don't you cut a little bit of the people that don't really do anything? Everybody wants to be justified. Everybody wants something. Everybody wants something. Nothing. That's what it is.
Thank you,
That's all
Mayor.
I gotta say. If you're gonna be taxed, you're gonna be taxed down the road. There's no getting around. Thank you. You all have a nice day. I have to go, good night. Goodbye.
Anyone else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Brad, Urban Superintendent Lucas, you had said that you need to do this. If you do this by the end of October, then it would take effect in January, right? Is the option still on the table with this to do it after October, or it just wouldn't take effect in January? Like that-
That's my understanding of the legislation, but they gave us,
This was the only window you had.
they gave a specific window to get it, to provide immediate relief. So it can be done. The other thing is we would need to renew this or formally approve it annually for them to continue. It's good for 1 year.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And I do want to state, we know the schools would certainly take the biggest loss in revenue. Looking at the wonderful math provided to us by Pat. Should we do one or both? Cumulatively, the schools would bear about 62% of the revenue loss. Simply, as we all know, you guys are primarily funded through property taxes, but the schools would be our biggest hitters in this. So we are mindful of that. that they take about 62% of the revenue loss, looking at the figure Pat provided. Floor is yours.
Brett Stevens, Madison Local School District. You all know that, well, maybe not, you don't, you guys do, we have to submit our forecasts, to the county auditor, to the state appropriations early, okay? Ours have already been done, they're already set, negotiated agreements are already done. So we have a very good idea of what we're going to spend for the year. You take hundreds of thousands of dollars out of our budget after we've already planned. We don't have the option or ability to go back and lay off staff. The school year's already started. So it really, I mean, we've already made the plans to change something midstream that's gonna affect us in January. Really has a crippling effect. Because we not only have to follow state law, we have to follow negotiated agreements. And we're not in a position. Like, honestly, if you did both of those, we would have a negative cash balance at the end of the year. And Mr. Dropsy knows we can't do that. That's not certifiable. So, and our contracts are already done, but we can't lay people off in the middle of the year either. So, you know, plus we have kids in the classrooms. Can't reroute the buses, can't start pay to participate, can't do things after the school year's already started. So make a decision now. It's gonna majorly take hundreds of thousands of dollars out of our budget in January. Really is, you know, it's like sit down and eat and here they see the price of the menu and then get the bill and it's twice the price of the menu. And it's like, well, if you had the money in your pocket, that's okay, but we don't have the money in our pocket to take care of this. So I'm not for this. That's all.
Understood. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Tammy, Miller, the treasurer of the Mansfield City Schools. And the first thing I would like to say to you guys is I don't envy you at all. I think that school funding and property taxes in general is a state issue. And the state should fix their issue and not have passed it on to you. That being said, I definitely echo Brad's sentiment. I just presented my 5-year forecast at our Tuesday board meeting and filed that with the state because of the fact that we did a significant budget reduction earlier in the year. We already cut $8 million out of our budget. And we were able to do that because of changes in Social Security and changes in the STRS retirement, but that will never happen again. Not only that, we don't have 86 positions to cut anymore, right? We rolled over our contract, so we can't negotiate with them until at least 30 days before July 1, before we can open those back up again. And as I look at this sheet, our particular district is the entity, Mansfield City Schools, who stands the most to lose with this. And, you know, I know that this was handed down to you by the state and you've got to do what you've got to do. I certainly am not for it because I can't negotiate. I can't cut any people. We're already on dues radar because we had to file a written reduction plan with them just to get where we are today. We don't have the auditor's recommendation of minimum 30 days of cash in any line of our forecast. And without this, we're in deficit spending next year already. We'll probably be doing some kind of an additional plan with the Department of Education, and they may step in and do some oversight or some emergency or whatever with our district. So again, I don't envy you. I just want to make sure that as the entity on this sheet that stands the most to lose with this, that you guys take that into consideration. You know, there are things that we can't do with our negotiated agreements and things like that at a certain time of the year. That ship has already sailed. We've already done our RIFs and we're stuck with what we have at this point. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Randy Gottlieb, I'm the treasurer of Montgomery Schools. I went a lot what they're saying, but we all agree that property taxes need to be dealt with and worked with. This is not the way to do that. Because I'm gonna tell you, it's illogical. You're gonna turn around and get almost $500 million of our money, school. That's gonna drive me back to the ballot. There's no way I can survive in the school district taking $500,000 hit. I'm gonna be back sooner and for larger levies than this. So what you're doing is you're giving tax exemptions and reductions to certain people that's gonna turn around very shortly into larger tax increases for everybody else. As I turn on, there's no way around it. You're not solving the issue. It's not how this should be done. The state of Ohio should be backfilling this, the state income tax. Because no one is complaining about their state income taxes. We understand that state income taxes, the income tax itself, is the ability to pay more income I can pay. Property isn't an indicator of ability to pay. So we understand that, but you turn around giving property tax relief at the expense of property tax is gonna turn around and go right back up in larger amounts and sooner. That's if they pass it. If they don't pass it, you shut the doors. And school district, that's what we'll be. You can't survive, we'll just shut the door. Without education. That's where it's heading with all this and what you're doing with this. So I understand the need for property tax reform and adjustments. This is not how to do it. It's gonna destroy the schools. I'm sure it's gonna have other major effects on the other entities, but it's gonna have a real major effect all across the county. Because I'm sure Lexington's, they go with us. And so we're all gonna be back on the ballot very shortly for larger amounts that probably won't pass. And then we're in major crisis. So we understand this needs to be dealt with. This is not the way the state of Ohio needs to step up, do the job, take care of this with the income taxes so that those that have the ability to pay, those that don't, property taxes, get the break. That's what I think needs to be done. Not this way.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Terry Graham, mental health and recovery service. We serve people with severe persistent mental issues, people that are struggling with addiction. The long-term impact of loss of funds support would be decreasing services such as prevention. In 2024, we served over 16,000 youth in prevention services. The long-term impact of that is increase in dating violence, substance abuse, and so forth. So, you think long-term and the increase of use and how that impacts things like homelessness and so forth. The loss of the funds to the board, under Ohio Revised Code, we're mandated to provide services for those people that are severe and persistently mentally ill. And, certain populations that are diagnosed with substance use and those that have substance use. And, the loss of these funds would drastically impact, those non-mandated services that are vital, that prevent people from needing those services that are mandated in the long. Thank you. I understand the plight that you gentlemen are dealing with and have to tackle that, but please consider the long-term effects of it.
Thanks, Sherry. Anyone else?
I have one thing. Yesterday I was in a meeting with the Westerville treasurer, and she said schools have lost 25% of state money already. And it's everywhere, not just here.
Thank you. Jay?
I was here to just listen, but as far as, how we have some taxpayers in the room and all of us that are here from all the different public entities that are in a similar boat, realize what exactly is happening here. The people at the State House that are making these decisions that want patted on the back for offering property tax relief, are the same ones that are not properly, they're not properly funding the formula that was created to fund schools in the first place. So what my fellow treasurers have said, as what Randy said, this is not the way to do this. I know they passed a hot potato to all of you. Certainly don't envy you guys in this, whether intentional or unintentional, and we may all have our own opinion on it. The decimation of public education, what is happening. They are decimating public schools. They are not properly funding schools, and the burden continues to shift to local communities. And those local communities have to be at each other because there is not enough funding to fund the services that are intended for those funds that they're cutting in a way that is actually What you're doing, combined with everything they're doing at the state house, and then turning around and eliminating options that districts have to even renew existing levies that they've had on the books. It's incredible what's happening down there, and then to throw this hot potato to you to further decimate public education, it's not the way to go. These services and all of these entities that are provided at each of these entities, in addition to public education, the students that we serve, every student that we serve, all the needs that those students have, regardless of what the extent of those needs are, how expensive those needs are, we serve them. Our teachers are unbelievable. Our support staff is unbelievable. At our district, we provide unbelievable results. And for the state house to turn around and do everything in their power to decimate public education, they disservice to our public school students. And that is what's happening here. And everybody else is getting swept into it. Every entity in here is getting swept into it. And as a taxpayer, I would love to pay less taxes, but you can't just say eliminate taxes without a plan on how you're going to fund those essential services. You cannot do that. It's not sustainable. And he was talking about long-term. I'm talking short-term. It's not long-term. This isn't far off in the distance what might happen. This is right around the corner. Whether it's closing the doors, boarding up windows, whatever it is. And I don't know if that's intentional, but that is right on the horizon. This is unbelievable what's happening.
Thank you. And also kudos to you school treasurers. We have to figure out those funding formulas. Because you send me spreadsheets and my eyes just like, I don't know, kudos to you guys for figuring out the funding formulas.
The funding formula they created has two parts. You have the part that is the capacity, which they have weighted 60% property valuation. They are the ones that created the system that has school districts reliant on property tax. We didn't create that. We don't want that. They created it. So you're gonna update the capacity side immediately when property values go up, which then on the base cost side, which is the other side, it's how much does it cost to fund a school or to pay for those services? They don't update that. That's still back fiscal year 21 number. And so that shifts more and more of the burden to the local communities. And they're the ones that are doing that. They're shifting the burden to the local community, not funding the formula the way it was created, and then turning around and they want to be patted on the back for trying to offer property tax relief when they're causing the need for additional levies that Randy was talking. Going to an income tax because they demonized property tax that they created. So the 20 mil floor, we can talk about that. There's a need for a 20 mil floor because they created that system. They created it. And now we're the ones trying to battle as they continue to decimate us by pulling more and more money away.
Thank you.
Kevin Kimmel, Mid-Ohio Educational Service Center. Most people not in education doesn't know what the ESC does, but very briefly, we provide the required services for students in the district. Most of them are special ed students, occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech, school psychology, all of the things that are required per law with students that are on IEPs. If this were to pass, the districts that we serve are going to have to make necessary cuts. What I'm fearful for, we have 180 employees in Mid-Ohio. We serve 3 counties, Richland, Crawford, Ball County. And if this passes, our school district's going to come in. Everybody has worked, to minimize that contract with Mid-Ohio the best they can. They can't cut any more. If they cut any additional, it'll be people that are serving our students and the required services that they have to provide. Where else do they go? Electives out the door, sports out the door, transportation out the door. But by law, they can't cut the required service. So even though Mid-Ohio is not on that list, we show up in every school district that's on that list. And we have great people providing great services to students that need it the most in our county. I hate to see that be decimated anymore. Treasurers have all spoke about the issue that they're going to have. Can't tell us mid-year that we have to make reductions. Our hands are tied. Thanks.
Thank you. Jimbo?
Jim Grubbs, Crestview Local Schools. I obviously, I think there's no one in this room that doesn't think that, homeowners should deserve some type of tax break. I think there's some data that shows that the state is failing in their part in contributing their share. Homeowners and farmers now carry 67.5% of the property taxes, up from 46% in 1975, while businesses share nearly their share has been cut in half during that same time frame. Ohio now ranks 8th in the nation on the highest property taxes in the country. We're 8th. Meanwhile, we're 46th. That means only 4 states share their burden that are less than our state's burden. 45 states are ahead of us in sharing their cost of public education. I also was at a meeting just a few weeks ago where a legislator from the state was sitting on stage and admitted that she needs money to run a campaign. She said that her campaign cost her $365,000. Our charter schools, private schools who are taking taxpayers' money with no accountability needs to be addressed. And until that gets addressed, I'm going to tell you right now, the charter schools and those people, they have lobbyists talking to those legislators, and those legislators need money to run their levies, right? At the end of the day, that charter school person can give them $10,000. Public education can't give them a penny. So who do you think they're going to pass legislation to help? Us or those people? I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dorinda Strang, and today I'm just here as a Richland County lifelong resident. So were my parents, so were my grandparents, and so were my great-grandparents. And I have a very simple message. I just want to say that I hope that you will issue no exemptions. And I'm saying that because we the people voted to support all these organizations. We value them and we voted to support them. And there were thousands of votes. And now we could just turn around those votes with an exemption and take that away. No, we value the services that we voted for. And so they should continue. We need to find another way to solve this problem. Taxes are for the common good. And so I gladly give the taxes to support these services that we voted for. That's it, just a simple message.
Thank you. Do need to just clarify that any action we would take wouldn't do away with voted on levies. Those were voted on and approved. There's also an inside millage piece. That's a separate conversation, but we need to be clear, this wouldn't undo the will of the voters with any existing levies. Now, the complete abolishment of property taxes, should that get to the ballot, that would be a different conversation, but we do need to at least be clear that this wouldn't undo any existing levies. Unless Pat corrects me on that.
You're absolutely correct.
Okay, thank you. So fun working with Patrick. I know. Anyone else?
Find a letter, Tony, where it says you can choose to issue no exemption, one exemption, or both exemptions. And my suggestion is to issue no exemption.
Yes,
Okay.
I was just saying, I wanted to make sure that for the room's purposes, because there was a reference to the voters voting on approving these dollars. And that's all I was making the clarification on. Absolutely, you're correct.
Rob Peterson, Madison Local Schools. I echo all the sentiments of the school people who have spoke here today, and I'll be brief. As you have heard, public education in the state of Ohio is under attack from the state level. And I just ask the three of you with this vote that you not allow that to filter down to the local level. Appreciate that you would not put any of these exemptions into place. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Anyone else? What's up, Mayor?
Bob Jarvis, Village Electric. I just have a question. So,
Yes, sir.
All of you that
we're already aware of this. This is remedial work for me. What happens if the county commissioners take no action? Do property taxes go up after the first of the year?
It would just be what, well, I guess they could go up based on varying factors, but it would be a continuation of status quo. My second favorite Schweitzer.
Deb Switzer, Midland Township. I had a conversation with Stacy on Tuesday, and her mother-in-law asked where she could sign the ballot to do away with property taxes. And she says, Mom, you don't understand what services that provide, your fire, your road. And I think we need to educate the public on this because they don't know what their property taxes are going for. They just know that they pay a lot. And I think the first place to start is education. And trying to get the word out, you're going to be cutting your own throats. You're going to be doing away with fire services for your townships. I just think it's asking a lot and they need to know.
Oh, I saw
Well,
that.
I was pointing her out, but sure, I'll speak.
Oh, okay.
I'm Jeff Hartman, I'm the superintendent for Gaga. This is Shannon, our treasurer.
Welcome to Richland County.
Well, thank you. Part of our district is in Richland
Yep.
County, but I'm also a resident of Richland County.
I love that.
District. Question that I have for you is, we have lifelong residents of Richland County. What does this look like if we axe all of this? What kind of place are we gonna have as home if we don't have people with addiction and mental health services that are accessible? Or we have high quality schools that kids can go to? You know, I'm worried every day that my kids have teachers that love them and opportunities to shine. And that takes every bit of dollars to make that happen. What does it look like when kids don't have teachers that love them? Or they don't have opportunities to shine? Or when they start to struggle, or there's an emergency, we don't have competent police and fire to be able to come to the rescue. I'm just curious what that world looks like. I don't think I want to live there, but maybe somebody does. And I just, that's kind of the option, I suppose, in front of you. Yes, there's a property tax issue that we need to address. There are multiple remedies out there that don't involve y'all. It involves the state legislature and they have clearly abdicated responsibility. But there's also options out there to fix this. Does Ohio have the political will to make it happen? And I don't like state politics being played on a local state. I like the community, I like where I live, I love the district. But I want to make damn sure that the fire department pulls up on call.
Yeah, it's one piece I don't understand about the initiative being circulated where it says services won't be lost. And I'm trying to just understand it from a pragmatic standpoint. If you completely abolish property taxes, the first thing that came to mind were the townships and fire stations. I didn't understand how, if you take away property taxes, that's all the fire and EMS services are provided in townships. So I'm trying to just logically understand the message that's being communicated with that current initiative, which is separate, obviously, from this, but I would agree. I don't understand it. You know, someone asked me once, what happens if property taxes are completely abolished? And I said, well, would probably make a lot of our elected officials' jobs easier because services would have to go away, right? In the absence of a revenue replacement, right? You know, we have Dayspring, library, I mean, everyone here, which is fine. So I'm just trying to understand the statement being circulated that there wouldn't be a loss of services with the complete abolition of property taxes. I still understand that piece, but. Yes, sir.
Brett Hefner, 3429 Stein Road, Shelby, Ohio, and I want to say I've benefited greatly from all the services in Richland County. Moved up here in 71, so I'm not an old family like many of you. I benefited from Pioneer Vocational School. My kids went to the Shelby schools. Benefit from a lot of services that we discussed. I've been in the offices. A lot of people know me for being in those offices. Nevertheless, I do want to say, I do not own any land in Richland County, Ohio, but in our household, we live in a very frugal manner, and our property tax is the single highest bill of anything that we pay in the entire year. I mean, of any budget item that we have, is quite large, and I would like to see some alternate method of paying that. And I appreciate both sides of this. Is there any way that you guys aren't gonna change the funding mechanism? I mean, we're property taxes are pay for all of these things. But keep in mind that for some of us, the need for some of those services is less when people can afford to stay in their homes as they get older. Thank you, that's it.
And Brett, good point. I did try to find some apples to apples comparison for everyone. It's difficult with property taxes because based on where you live, you could have a new levy. You could have a levy come off. But the statistics I was able to show and looking at research is property taxes, and you guys have done the same research, so correct me if you found. Russian property taxes have increased about 23% in Ohio from 2019 to 2023. That's sort of a state look from sources I showed. The median tax bills from 2019 to 2023 are up 23%. So we're trying to balance, again, the need of all of you with the sentiment, and rightfully so, to afford some property tax relief. So just trying to give you guys a little bit of statistics. There was about a 23% increase in the past 4 years. Anyone else? Sheriff?
I'm not here as a sheriff, I'm here as a citizen. In Richland County, I've lived for all my life. I own multiple properties and I pay what is to me a lot of property tax, as Bart and Pat can attribute to. There's, and the money guys would know this, but there's sales tax, state income tax, and property tax is how we get money to fund all of us. And I agree that there probably needs to be some kind of adjustment, but I agree with Mr. Harvey. All my kids went to Ontario schools, by the way. More son graduated from Ontario. The way they're doing it, to me, they are not fixing a problem, they're creating a problem. So I think something needs to be done, but in my opinion, as a citizen, is this isn't what needs to be done. I think there needs to be an adjustment and the state needs to do it, but this is not the manner to do it in.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Again, I can't say it much better than fellow treasurers have. This points to a failure of our state legislature. They just reduced our state income tax down to what, 2.75%? They're hammering property tax relief and need for it. Our state's not broke. Their budget's been going up same as anybody else through these past couple of years. They could easily reduce that state income tax to a higher number than 2.75%, provided this targeted relief that they want. If they want to provide property tax relief, they don't want to pay for it. They want to provide it on the back of public entities. That's all I have.
Hey, Tony, Jerry Seekers, Superintendent of Lexington Local. We're talking like this is each different entity it's going to impact. We're all interconnected. We just lost 2.7 million on a levy we're not allowed to replace. We've been literally cut 2 million. We have to put a levy on that's going to have a hard time passing because nobody in Lexington history has ever had to look at an income tax. But you can't put a property tax on up there. And while you're saying over the last 4 years, taxes have gone up, formula that Jason was referring to is that's also caused our school funding to go down at the exact same time. And Sherry helps pay for the catalyst services and mental health that are in my school. These guys help provide the school resource officers that are there. It's not just Lexington is going to get hit. It's all of us, and we're all in it together. I've been talking with Greg about what we can do for Pioneer. If they can't bring me somebody from CBI because they can't afford it, that just hurts my kids anymore. It's all of us together. We're all working together, and when you take money from each one of us, yes, it impacts our own entities, but it also impacts what we can do together for our students because it's a community. And as leaders of the community, you need to stand up for your community and tell the people in Columbus, do their jobs while you do yours. Thank you.
Hey, anyone else? Yes, sir.
Back here, I'm John Mason at Clearport Valley.
Hi, President President, well, I want to thank you commissioners for this meeting. I think it was well needed, you know, we're all on the same boat, as pointed out. But, you know, talk about the state income tax. Back in the seventies, when rollback was introduced and instead, the rate is in the seventies, Senate income tax. Now it's in that 2%. That shift is happening to all of us. Very important. Legislation is poor. They don't understand the timing, obviously, in school districts especially. But I think it's bad position to put the county in to say, let's choose this or not. It's their job.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I would just say, I'm Julie Smith, I'm from the Heartland Technical Education Center, formerly Ashland County West Holmes, located in Ashland County. And my sentiments would, you know, mimic everything that's been said here today. However, with being in a school district that spans 7 counties, I would just ask you all to consider. I thank you today for the job that you all do. You have a tough job, as we all do in this room. But I would ask you to consider, you know, the action that you take today could roll out to other counties. So I would just ask you to stand in the to go against this initiative for the sake of everything that's been said here today.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, just so I think what we'll do, we don't plan to take any action today. I think it was important for us to get your feedback. Allow residents who couldn't make it today an opportunity to provide some feedback. I think the thought process is, unless you guys disagree, is to set up another meeting probably down here to discuss it one more time and to take any action, if any. So that's where we are. We won't take any action today. Certainly, we would like to, if we do decide or discuss making a decision within that October window. But we're certainly not going to take a vote today. I think we need to process it, look at the numbers, give residents an opportunity to reach out to us as well. We know you are in a tough spot, particularly our schools. We understand that. And thank you for the kind words. We're just trying to balance the harm it'll do, particularly to our local schools, with residents that are absolutely contacting us seeking property relief. So we're trying to thread a needle, so to speak. It's our job. We'll do it. But certainly have been hit up a lot about property taxes lately. We all know the initiative. So we're trying to come up with the best solution given what the state legislature provided us.
Tony, I'll offer if you need a larger space for a meeting that Ohio, you can use Mid Ohio.
Okay.
Parking easy to get to, and we'll have plenty of space if you'd like that.
Thank you. All right. Any questions from the
We'll talk to you afterward.
Lucky us. Okay, so again, if you have a little bit of time, please go downstairs, take a look at what you've graciously provided the people of Richland County. So thank you all for coming, and we will adjourn at 10:53.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you.